which is that scooter which you can ride with an A1 rider's license. Very silent, very economic, and even has a great acceleration. This is the Niu MQi GT EVO, which nearly the same bike. We already made a review last year. You can find the link here in the up corner, and you can check this review, because we are not going to repeat a lot of things which were already in that film. We would like to only speak about why is it called EVO version, because these three small letters are meaning a lot, and a lot of more dynamism. The biggest change is in the middle of the rear wheel, because the engine itself, which so far in the, let's say, 125 cubic centimeter petrol engine powered scooters class, working Niu scooters, it was always a Bosch 3 kilowatt engine, but now it is a Niu V engine, so I think it is produced by Niu itself, and the power output increased to 5 kilowatts, which is a lot more. The more power needs much more energy. That's why the batteries are also changed, and not only them, because if we check the cables, they are also thicker and everything else. For example, even these plug things are different, because the whole system is, instead of 48 volts, it is already 72 volts, so everything is much more powerful. Even the batteries are heavier. In the previous ones they were 11 kilos each, and now they are 14 kilos each, but all the things which we already mentioned in the previous review are true. So you can take out the batteries, carry them to your apartment, or leave them in their space and refuel or charge the whole vehicle from the central plug. You can carry the whole charging system here behind the batteries with you under the seat. So the charging time is also the same. So the only difference is that the GT EVO is much faster. The EVO version also has three different riding modes. The weakest is the e-save mode, but even here our top speed is, as you can see, as a normal, let's say 50 cubic centimeter scooters. So the top speed is somewhere around 49-80 kilometers per hour, and we have a, let's say, minimal but pretty good acceleration. This e-save mode is the same way dynamic as the middle mode in the weaker, the 3 kilowatt versions. When we put the EVO version to dynamic, then it is riding approximately as the basic version on the full sport mode. So the top speed is over the maximum allowed inside the city, 70 kilometers per hour approximately, and inside the big city this is mainly enough. So honestly, inside the city you do not really have to switch it to the sport mode, but now I am switching it on the sport mode, because I would like to show you that when we are riding in this one, then the acceleration is very sufficient. It really easily reaches the 100 kilometers per hour area, and it easily can keep the 100 kilometer speed without any kind of problem. Of course, as all the other Nius, this is also a smart scooter, which is meaning that from your mobile telephone's application you can set up everything on your bike, and for example, when you leave it somewhere, then you do not have to close the steering lock, because when you simply switch off the ignition and leave there the bike. Now I left with the key in my pocket, I left the bike, and then it starts this alarm system and everything else, and now I am the guy who is wanting to steal it and just push it away, because I see that the front wheel is in the front, so it is not closed, and when I want to push it away, then it is already locked. With the key in my pocket I have to open it, and when it is on ignition, then it is opened and I can leave it. But for example, if I am in my apartment on the 7th floor and my friend wants to take away my bike and calls me that, hey friend, I need the bike, and then I simply can give ignition from my mobile phone and he can use it without any kind of problem.
The brake system is just the same as on the basic version, so we have front and rear also brake disc without ABS, but a combined brake system and including an electronic braking. So when we are braking, then you can see that we are recharging energy to the batteries, so saving some energy. The only problem, so the efficiency even in emergency braking cases is really good. The only problem is that when you would like to make a U-turn, for example, pull the throttle and use the rear brake, then the brake is always cutting the power of the bike. So you have to make the U-turn without having any kind of power. I am pulling the throttle now, and you can see that when I am releasing the brake, then the bike always starts to accelerate. This is really a mistake, because making the narrow maneuvers is very complicated with these kinds of electric scooters and bikes.
MQi GT's EVO version got a very beautiful and colorful dashboard, which is extremely informative, and on top of all this, from the mobile phone's application you can change its pictures as you wish. This EVO version we got from Niu Hungary for several days, so we already made over 200 kilometers, a lot of charging and everything else. We have to say that this bike, the range itself, because this is one of the most important things in the case of these scooters, that the range is even a little bit more than Niu is saying. They are saying 65 to 75 kilometers. This is true in the sport mode, but as I already mentioned, the sport mode is really necessary only outside of the city. Inside the city, in the dynamic mode, you are absolutely in a good position in the traffic. So we always had the 70-75 kilometers every day. So I think that for the big city citizens, the knowledge of this bike is more than it is necessary.
Finally, we have to find out who is going to be the target of this EVO version, because honestly the basic MQi GT is good enough for most of the people who are mainly changing their places only inside a big city. If you are living outside of the city but close to that and riding every day to your working place, for example through a highway, then you are going to need this sport mode and the acceleration and the speed of the EVO version, because it is pretty much more expensive than the basic one. If you don't really use out the knowledge of the sport mode, then maybe it is much more worth to buy the basic MQi GT.
If you liked our review, please push a thumb up on it. In the description under the film you can find the link where you can donate our work. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe for our channel and watch our previous contents, and thanks a lot for your kind attention.